introduce you guys?
My name is Alyssa Enspinger. I'm a senior bio student in the Honors Tutorial College.
Okay, awesome. And can you tell us a little bit about your thesis?
Yeah, so my thesis project is called Prediction of Radial Bending Strength by Cortical Porosity and Diameter, which is a mouthful.
Yeah.
But so basically, osteoporosis is a disease characterized by a decrease in bone strength, and so that leads to an increased risk for fracture. And right now, osteoporosis is diagnosed using bone mineral density testing, which is like a bit more familiar, I think, with like postmenopausal women that would be typically at risk for experiencing late age fractures. Though research tells us that BMD actually doesn't predict fractures very well. So the sort of push in looking for a more accurate diagnosis in osteoporosis has tried to look at other characteristics of bone that give us a better understanding of how strong that bone actually is and whether it's at risk for actually fracturing. So the three predictors that I looked at were bending stiffness, cortical porosity, and diameter. So I looked at the elasticity of the bone, I looked at how much bone had been deteriorated, and I also looked at the geometry of the bone, because we think that all three of those characteristics influence how strong a bone is and when it's undergoing deformation or experiencing a force.
What bones did you use for the project?
Yeah, so I used the human radius, which is, so you have in your forearm, you have two long bones. You have the ulna, that's on your right, on the pinky side, and you have your radius, which is on the thumb side. So we had 30 cadaveric arms that we obtained from human tissue banks.
Wow.
And so we CT scanned those, and then we took all of the soft tissue off. So we took off the skin, the fat, the muscle, and then excised those bones, and then we fractured them to see how strong those bones actually are.
Holy
yeah.
crap. What was that? How long did that process take? Or can you describe a little bit about the process, like as far as
Must have
like,
taken
did it take it like a week, or did you do
of fracturing the bones? So I see, with like preparing
Swift
them.
blow for fracture.
Yeah.
them and
So it has to be done in one day typically, because cadaveric tissue, specifically bone, can start to lose its like quality, like the integrity
Starts
of
to
that
rot.
tissue. Exactly. If it's kept above a certain temperature, I think it's negative 20 Celsius.
That's pretty cold.
Yeah, and so that it has to be maintained frozen, but like when you're handling it, we would keep it in a 4 degrees Celsius refrigerator, like while that arm was being handled, and then the bones, after being excised from the arms, were stored in a freezer for like later for future use.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, question. Sorry, your one of your things was elasticity of the bone.
Yeah.
How would you test that in a living human without damaging it?
That
That's
is a
what I
really
was
good
gonna ask,
question. So the sort of underlying goal of this research is our lab is actually developing a non-invasive technology that
Okay.
measures the stiffness of a bone. And so what the purpose of this research project was to see how other characteristics might compare to stiffness as a predictor, or that elasticity as a predictor. Like, is it warranted to keep investigating this technology if we have other predictors that might be still useful?
Yeah.
But what we found is that no other predictor that we looked at was as accurate in predicting bending strength as stiffness by like a pretty large statistical significance. So that was pretty exciting for us. And we also looked at other like donor demographics. So we used age as a predictor, BMI, height, body weight. So we believe that like the further investigation of this technology called MRTA is pretty warranted by how stark the difference is and how much more information that we get from bending stiffness.
Excellent.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sounds like you guys actually got somewhere with it.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. We there have been in the past some studies in our lab that have tested the technology on like artificial models of bones, and then they moved on to looking at like the cadaveric arms, and we're getting ready to start doing it on actual humans. So we're pretty excited about
Cool.
that.
And when do you start that?
The last time I talked about it with my thesis advisor, I think they were looking to get started sometimes at the end of the spring and like doing it over the course of like the next few months and into next year. So fingers crossed. I hope it's progressing in that way.
Well, best of luck to you.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much
Of
for
course. It was really
taking
nice
this
to meet
interview
both of
today.
you.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.